fund for day laborers.
Court decides second fire department lawsuit in Larchmont.
Official transition in Mamaroneck.
Local man takes on bottled water.
Westchester County to get tougher on recycling.
And learn about wreaths across America. Those stories and more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura, Carlin. Our top story. Money for day laborers, $70,000 to be exact. Dewey and LeBoeuf, the law firm that represented the day laborers in the lawsuit against the village of Mamaroneck, made the donation to establish the Day Laborers Fund, which is intended to provide grants to community nonprofit organizations that offer services or conduct programs to improve the well-being of day laborers and their families in the Larchmont Mamaroneck community. Grants will not be made to individuals, it's only for organizations. Now, the fund will be administered by the Summit, which itself is a volunteer-operated nonprofit organization serving the Larchmont Mamaroneck community. Grants will be awarded over the next 2 years with the goal of dispersing all the monies by the end of 2009. The Summit hopes to make the first round of grants by March 2008. Organizations interested in applying should request an application and guidelines by letter to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Local Summit, Box 811, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543. For more information, you can contact the Summit through Judy Dobroff at 845-893-6408 or Doreen Cushell at 835-2608. Alternatively, call Janice Meyer at Dewey and LeBoeuf at 212-259-6030 or 212-259-8000.
Larchmont Village has had another success in the courts regarding the hiring of Richard Hine as paid fire chief. In the second lawsuit, the judge said that he was bound by earlier decision in a separate case, but with the same issue. In both cases, plaintiffs had made the argument that Larchmont Village Board, when it appointed and hired a paid chief, had partially abolished the volunteer fire department. The first lawsuit that was turned down was seeking an injunction that would have overturned the decision by the village board. In the second suit, plaintiffs asked that a referendum should have been held in the hiring of the chief. Larchmont Mayor Liz Feld issued a statement saying, quote, "The fire department has been operating efficiently and effectively under Chief Hine's leadership, including responding to over 500 calls for service since his appointment on May 16, 2007. I hope the plaintiffs in this lawsuit and the other lawsuit that is still pending stop wasting taxpayers' money and respect that 2 Supreme Court justices have ruled in support of the village board's authority and the decision to appoint a professional fire chief." End of quote. The village expects that the 2 lawsuits will cost somewhere in excess of $100,000 in legal fees.
The Democrats are in control of Mamaroneck Village. Mayor Kathy Savold and trustee Randy Rabinowitz were sworn in on December 3rd following their defeat of 2-time Mayor Phil Trifoletti and appointed trustee Tony Fava. In her first official action, the Journal News reports that Mayor Savold requested to be addressed as Kathy rather than Mayor, saying that, quote, "being called mayor makes you sound conceited and distances you from people," end quote. Now, the first order of business, reducing legal fees and liabilities. Earlier this fall, the village decided to hire its own staff attorney to manage the lawsuits and is actively looking to fill the position. In the meantime, Steve Silverberg will be interim village attorney. Silverberg's firm replaced Thatcher, Profit & Wood on the Westchester Day School case after the village lost its recent appeal. The board, in consultation with counsel, still is deciding whether to take it to the United States Supreme Court. Other priorities for Mayor Savold are formalizing a vendor agreement with Sport Time, which runs the tennis facility at Harbor Island, and dealing with flood mitigation. Village board meetings will continue to be held twice a month on Mondays, with the first scheduled for December 10th.
The members of the Mamaroneck Police Department recently got a course in emergency driving. In addition to the emergency driving course, they also received a class for defensive driving. Police officers usually learn about driving a vehicle under emergency conditions at the police academy. Mamaroneck Village Police Chief Edward Flynn decided that it was a good idea to give the officers some additional training so that they would be in a better position to respond in an emergency. The officers got training in an obstacle course, in a serpentine exercise, in conducting an S-turn without the car getting out of control. The police department would also like to include other members of the community emergency response team in future training classes. They're trying to see whether some federal funding is available to open the course for other emergency personnel and not just the police department.
Parents of Hommock's middle schoolers have been up in arms about the sudden and secretive reassignment of 2 tenured guidance counselors. So much so that Hommock's parents circulated a petition demanding to know the circumstances of the administrative proceeding, stating, and I quote, "As concerned parents and taxpayers, we believe we have the right to know why the 2 most highly qualified guidance counselors at the Hommock's Middle School have been administratively reassigned, why 1,200 students have been left to rely on 2 much less experienced counselors, and why the situation has continued since October 29. This isn't a personal matter any longer, it's a matter of education and a matter of responsive government," end quote. Mamaroneck School Superintendent Dr. Paul Freed responded with a letter to parents explaining that under New York Public Officers Law, there is no right of the public to this information, and rather, employees have a right to privacy, which could be violated by any disclosure. Dr. Freed also explained the interim counseling measures in place at Hommock's for students and families needing assistance. Then on December 5th, Hommock's principal Dr. Seth Weitzman sent an email letter to Hommock's parents announcing the appointment of a replacement guidance counselor on Team 3, also known as the Bali Tiger House. The appointee, Deneen Payne, not only graduated Hommock's herself, but also was a special education teacher in the district and last year received a master's degree in counseling. She's been teaching English at Hommock's this year, replacing an ill teacher on Team 2, which happens to be the other team currently without a counselor. Hommock's now is looking for a permanent replacement for Ms. Payne's teaching duties, as well as another replacement counselor. And of course, we will keep you posted.
New concept: take the train to the car. Metro North Railroad has come to an agreement with Enterprise Rent-A-Car that will allow riders of the railroad to pick up a car at their destination station. The idea is that you can take a train out of Grand Central to, let's say, Mamaroneck, where you will then pick up the rental car and go to your final destination. The Metro North riders will be able to get a 5% discount of the normal rental rates at Enterprise. Not all stations on the New Haven line in Westchester County will offer this service, but Mamaroneck is one of them. Larchmont is not listed at this time. When you return to the train station where you picked up the car, it's simple to drop it off. You just place a special tag on the windshield, put the keys in a secure drop box, and get on the train and on to your next destination. The deal with Enterprise Rent-A-Car is scheduled to start in May or June. The prior agreement that Metro North had with Zip Cars, but on a much smaller scale, will end this spring.
Mike Witch can't stay bottled up about what's happening.
Eric Yaverbaum, you're quoted in the Journal News as saying bottled water is the environmentally incorrect Humvee of beverages. True?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about these statistics. 25 billion bottles of bottled water are sold in this country a year. 25 billion. This is 17.5 million barrels of oil. That's enough for 1 million of us to drive our cars in a year. It's equivalent to 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide into the air. For what? For what you have in your hand. I'm sorry to take it from you.
Hey, come on.
This bottled water right here, and what it does, the damage that it does to our environment, it's the same exact water as you get from your tap. Now, I'll give it back to you, and I hope you'll stop drinking after the show.
Now, wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be filtered, and maybe some of them are even enriched with minerals and vitamins that we don't get normally?
Some. You can put a filter on your tap water at home. You get the same exact thing. Coke and Pepsi have both admitted publicly, and Pepsi labels their bottled water that way, that it is exactly the same thing you get from your tap. It is tap water. In New York, particularly in Westchester, the water is very, very clean. You can check on any given day to see how clean the water is, and if you have filtered water in your home, you are getting the same thing that is raping the environment. And think about this, if you don't want to do something that's good for the environment. We're not going to stop driving cars. We're not. We're probably not going to turn down our air conditioners. We can stop drinking tap water. The average person, if you drink the recommended daily allowance of water a day, it's 8 glasses of water.
That's right.
If you buy bottled water, you will spend, on average, $1,400 a year. You can get 8 glasses of water from your tap, same stuff, and you will spend 49 cents a year. So if it doesn't appeal to you to save the environment, to do something that's good for the planet, how about good for your pocketbook?
All right, you've got something in your hand now that has a very nice little logo on it, and it says Think Global, Drink Local.
Yep.
And it's got a website. Tell us about the website.
Well, it's tappening.com. My whole idea was to brand tap water with my brilliant partner, Mark DeMassima, who owns an advertising agency in the city. And we wanted to make it cool for kids to carry around bottled water. I will say, I don't care if you buy my bottle of water, if you buy it from Nalgene, if you buy it from Procter & Gamble. They all have, it's the same exact bottle. What I knew as a marketer was if I could brand the person carrying the bottle would sell. That was just the theory. As you know, and I know the Journal News wrote and a lot of other publications did, we sold 39,000 bottles in our first 36 hours of putting our website up. I would say by this weekend we'll probably have over 1 million unique visitors. That's in 3 weeks. Corporate America would love to have 1 million unique visitors. What I care about is not selling the bottles, is educating the public, and that's what the website does. It's an educational tool to teach you why you can drink tap water and why you should not buy bottled water.
Well, for those folks who are on bottled water because it's convenient, but it's also a soft plastic. That's a hard plastic, and you told me that's not going to leak anything bad into the water.
Well, here's the thing about you know, the how plastic has come along in the last decade. This particular bottle is polycarbonate. Polycarbonate will not leach. If you put this in your dishwasher and you put it near the heating unit and it cracks, it's a different story. But no, this bottle, nothing will leach into your water as opposed to the bottle that you have in your hand where it's possible that it can.
But you're also coming out with a line of other materials, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we had no idea. We were floored by the response. We thought we'd sell 39,000 bottles in a year, not in 36 hours. Based on how popular our website has been and how much self-funding we can do from the sales, we have 10 different lines coming out, which will include everything from 4 different types of plastics, polycarbonate being one of them, all the way to stainless steel, which seems to be in big demand now.
What's the money that you raise with this? Where is it going?
Well, a portion of the proceeds are going to represent and promote and market a wonderful documentary called Garbage, The Revolution Starts at Home. It was a combination for me of watching that documentary and my daughter's influence, who carries a bottle like this, and teaching me about it. Between the two of them, I came up with this concept.
And she's here at Mamaroneck High School.
She's here in Mamaroneck High School, absolutely.
We'll watch for her.
That's why I'm doing the show, just to impress her.
Would you come back again and talk more about the film?
Yeah, I would love to.
But one last question. Are you the favorite son of Coke and Pepsi?
No, I am not in very good favor with Coca-Cola right now. I don't think they like me very much.
I think we need to hear more about that. Thanks so much for coming on, and come back again.
Thanks so much for having me.
And speaking of water and soda bottles and more, Westchester County is moving to recycle more, and Glenna Gray explains.
New recycle rules go into effect February 1st. Items to be recycled must be properly divided in order to be picked up. County Executive Andy Spano believes we have come a long way in our efforts to help conserve our natural resources and protect the environment. Besides, to recycle is the law and also helps the taxpayers. Watch for more information in January about separating your garbage. For more information, call 914-823-5420 or go to the county website, www.westchestergov.com/recycling. Steve Altieri, Mamaroneck's town administrator, the superintendent of the Larchmont Mamaroneck Joint Garbage Disposal Commission will be reminding the residents to continue and increase their recycling efforts. Call the town center for local information. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
It's not just holiday wreaths coming to town this December. Mike Witch has details.
There will be a very special wreath-laying ceremony at the Kemper Memorial Park on Thursday, December 13th at 10:45 in the morning, and community members are invited to attend. The wreath will be one of 10,000 donated by the Worcester Wreath Company to adorn the headstones of those buried at Arlington National Cemetery. This is the 15th year that the Harrington, Maine Company has so honored soldiers who died in service to their country. If you're in Kemper Park on December 13th, you'll see the 2 tractor trailers loaded with wreaths, escorted by motorcycles and vehicles from the Patriot Guard Riders. The convoy will be en route to Washington, D.C. The stop in Mamaroneck, well, that's part of a new national campaign called Wreaths Across America. The convoy will also deliver wreaths to specific veterans' memorials along the route. After the ceremony here, lunch will be provided for the convoy at the Senior Center in the Mamaroneck Town Center. The convoy is scheduled to leave Mamaroneck by 12:15. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
A local group discusses local needs. Glenna Gray has the story.
According to the local summit, interagency coordination is vital for helping local residents who have suffered due to the spring flood, loss of employment, rising fuel costs. Higher costs across the board have impacted all income levels. Section 8 assistance applications have increased. Owners of co-ops need assistance because of increase in heating costs. 20 families have asked for holiday meals and groceries. 28 families with 45 children have requested aid for holiday gifts. Besides these problems, some landlords have not repaired rental units, so tenants cannot return to their apartments. The executive director of the Hispanic Resource Center says she has raised $40,000 to help the immigrant population get new apartments, travel to and from the furniture warehouse at the airport. The other agencies working in the community are Food Pantry, the Community Action Program, Furniture Warehouse, Washingtonville Housing Alliance, St. Thomas Church, and Habitat for Humanity. Some of these organizations work with the local government to help ease the stress and anxiety many people are feeling. For information about the summit, you may call Teddy Becker, 834-2410. Mary Lee Berridge, 834-0192, or Harold Wolfson, 834-6229. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Mike Witch gives Larchmont commuters a heads up on downstairs.
Larchmont commuters, listen up. The stairwell connecting the town's commuter lot number 1, that's the upper lot on Myrtle Avenue, connecting it with the Larchmont Metro North train station, well, that is closed until further notice. The closing is sooner than expected. A routine inspection showed the stairs needed to be closed now. Well, how do you get to and from the train? You can use the Vine Street Tunnel to access both the north and south platforms. The tunnel is open weekdays from 6 in the morning to midnight. On weekends, use the ramp across the street from Plates Restaurant. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
Trouble with the kids? Need parenting advice? Glenna Gray introduces a local author with answers.
Are you looking for a gift? You need another stocking stuffer? Or perhaps a New Year's gift? I have a great little book here for you, Through the Eyes of a Child. If you're thinking about having children, don't until you read this. And we have with us one of the authors, Paulette. Welcome to LMC-TV.
Thank you.
Now, what is this book about?
This is a book about what a child needs to have in order to be a better person. So it's an advice book for parents written through the eyes of a child.
Through the eyes of the child?
Yes.
You mean as soon as they come into the world or before they come?
Before they come into the world. It's what their thoughts may be for their parents before they are even born.
Oh, could you give us an example?
Well, as one of the examples, through the eyes of a child, it's saying to the parents, are you really ready to have me? Do you know how much it's going to cost to take care of me? So it starts from there and it takes the parents all the way through until the child graduates from high school.
From high school?
Yes.
And approximately what would that cost be?
I can't tell you how much that cost is going to be.
In 18 years' time?
In 18 years' time. But it also depends upon whether or not the child goes to a private school or a public school or one of the state colleges. So it varies. It depends upon what the decisions are that the parents make about that for that child.
Well, does the book give us any information about health care, the price, the cost?
Yes, it starts at the very beginning with all of the cost. The health care cost, if the child doesn't have, or the parents do not have the right kind of medical insurance, what that can mean in terms of the health of the child that's being born.
Oh, all right. What about housing?
It starts off with that as well. Is there enough room in the present house for the child? And if the parents need to have a child care provider live in, what is that going to be? Do they have enough room for that? Do they need to move? It talks about those kinds of things as well.
So this is a combination also for the parent.
Yes, it is.
So it's informing, the baby's informing the parent what I need to come into
Yes, it's a smart kid.
Westchester County.
It's a smart kid talking to the parent about all those things, absolutely.
And how long, where did you do the research?
My co-author Ann and I, we did the research over time, over a 3-year period, just talking to other parents and doing some research on the internet, as well as our own personal experiences as mothers and as new grandmothers.
Oh, you're a grandmother.
We're both grandmothers.
Oh, now do you see the difference in cost from the time your new grandchild and when you had your child?
Absolutely. And the most expensive difference has been the child care providing, babysitting, daycare centers, those kinds of things. Those are costs that have gone up astronomically.
And I guess piano lessons and guitar lessons.
All of those, yes. The
and
sports.
summer camp.
Summer camp, winter camp. All of those prices have gone up tremendously.
Yes.
And play dates. When I had children, we didn't have things called play dates.
Right.
But now there are such things, and it's amazing the kinds of things that parents have to plan around for their children.
So it's a whole new world. The
It's
21st century is a brand new world.
Absolutely.
Well, this sounds like a very interesting book. Do you think we could get it at Anderson's? Have you tried Anderson's?
We will try Anderson's. This came out in September. We are available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. We can order the book through any of the websites, as well as our own. We have a www.momsgoto.com. momsgoto.com.
Oh.
So we want moms to come to us to get information, because we also link to wellness during pregnancy, child care providing, what fathers need to know when they're left with the child, or of what a parent needs to know if they have a child in an urban setting versus a suburban setting.
Oh, you really covered a lot in this book. It looks thin, but it's chock full of
It's chock.
information.
Yes, it is.
So I think that perhaps a lot of young people
Yes.
should take a look at this, and grandparents. I thank you very much for coming in. It's a great stocking stuff, all for the new year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette.
Thank you
and
for having me.
enjoy your new grandchild.
I certainly will. Thank you so much, Glenna.
You may have heard the news over the last couple of months that Martha Stewart wanted to use the name of Katona, the village about 20 miles north of us, as a trademark for some of her home furnishings. The residents of Katona were not excited about it and finally came to a compromise with Martha Stewart, limiting the use of the name Katona to some home furnishings. Newsweek magazine, in its November 26 edition, did a little piece on it, and among the items that were shown in the story was a sofa which they suggested should be called the Mamaroneck sofa. The caption under the picture of the Mamaroneck sofa read, "It's as long and cozy as the name itself. See for yourself." Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next time.